Welcome to Lisa's Tell Me My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet the daughter.
And I'm Kevin the dad.
And this week we are listening to the golden hits of Lesley Gore. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
Well, you needed to know the title of this album 5 seconds ago because...
If they're best ofs, I never pay attention to the album title. I don't.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Leslie Sue Goldstein was born May 2nd, 1946 in Brooklyn, New York. Her parents were Leo Goldstein, who owned Peter Pan, a children's swimwear and underwear manufacturer, and Ronnie Gore. The family changed their surname to Gore after Leslie was born. Leslie was raised in Tenafly, New Jersey, which she described as Pleasantville. She attended the Dwight School for Girls in Englewood, New Jersey, and later, during her early recording career, went to Sarah Lawrence College in Yonkers, New York. She was graduated with a degree in American literature. At 16 years old, Leslie was discovered by Quincy Jones.
Oh, really? Wow.
Per Leslie, she was taking vocal lessons in New York. One day, her piano teacher and she went into a studio and made some demos. One of Leslie's uncles got a hold of the demos and gave them to Joe Glazer, who was a music and fight manager at the time. Glazer forwarded the demos to Irving Green, president of Mercury Records. Green gave the tapes to Quincy Jones for evaluation, and he became her producer.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Jones brought 200 demos to Leslie's house to review. They put a song called It's My Party in the maybe pile. After listening to all the demos, It's My Party was the only one they agreed on.
Wow.
Yep. Leslie recorded the song in March 1963. Also that same month, Phil Spector recorded a version with the Crystals. Now, Quincy was unaware of this until he and Phil met at a concert, and Phil gave it the old, "Oh, by the way." Quincy skipped the concert, went to Bell Sound Studios, pressed 1,000 copies of Leslie's version, and sent it to radio programmers across the United States. Quincy then went abroad to Japan. At least I think it was Japan. Anyway, It's My Party. Sorry.
This is a live show, folks.
It's My Party was officially released, went to #1, and stayed there for 4 weeks. Now, when Quincy came back, he wanted to change Leslie's name to something more pleasant. Aaron Schrader, who owned the music firm that published It's My Party, broke the news to Quincy that the record was #1, and who cared about a name change?
Yeah, exactly.
A sequel, Judy's Turn to Cry, hit #5, and more hits came out, including her anthem, You Don't Own Me, which stalled at #2 behind some British group whose name escapes me.
We all know which one you mean.
They had some song about hand-holding, I think.
Oh.
Leslie appeared in the concert movie The Tammy Show, and Tammy stood for Teenage Music International, and originally it was supposed to be a concert that was filmed every year with whoever the popular stars of the day were, but they ran out of money. So it was kind of a one-and-done thing. Now, she was the biggest star at the time and had one of the longest sets, 6 songs. Now, others to appear in that movie were Chuck Berry, Marvin Gaye, James Brown, and the Rolling Stones.
Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, it finally came out on DVD some years ago after being, unavailable for the longest time.
Oh, wait, I think we watched it, or part of it. Did James Brown do Night Train in that one?
I believe so,
Okay, yep, then I have seen the James Brown portion.
Yep, great movie. And while all this was going on, Leslie was getting tons of fan mail from girls who were turning to her for advice.
Oh, no.
They saw themselves in her songs and wanted help. For Leslie, it was too overwhelming. Her heart went out to these girls, and maybe that's what led to recording You Don't Own Me. She did say that after reading these letters, she felt like she kind of led this sheltered life, living where she lived, where, everything was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, Quincy Jones stopped producing Leslie in 1966, but she did manage to eke out one more top 40 hit with the Bob Crew-produced California Nights. Leslie also appeared on Batman.
I was going to ask you about that.
Oh, yeah, as Pussycat, Catwoman's protege, and she got to sing a little bit of California Nights on the TV
I got to
show.
watch the Batman clip later, because that popped up when I searched the lyrics, and I went, no way.
Yes way.
Huh. Wait, which Catwoman was it?
I believe it was... 1966. Oh, I want to say Eartha Kitt, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'll find out later when I watch it, and I'll let you know.
Okay. Just as an aside, these days when there's some sort of Quincy Jones tribute, is Lesley Gore work gets either ignored or it's barely mentioned in passing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like he's embarrassed by it, or maybe it's not funky enough, or
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, her contract with Mercury Records expired in 1968, and the label chose not to renew. She signed with Crew Records in 1970, but the label went bankrupt in 1971.
Oh.
And then she signed with Mo West Records, which was a subsidiary of Motown.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Lesley turned to songwriting, and according to her, she stunk at first, but got better. To the point, one of her songs was nominated for an Academy Award.
Oh, which one?
Out Here on My Own from Fame.
Oh, okay.
She lost to her brother Michael, who wrote the title track from the same movie.
Oh, well.
Yeah. She continued performing and eventually starred on Broadway in Smokey Joe's Cafe.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yep. In 2005, Lesley came out as a lesbian and had been in a relationship with jewelry designer Lois Sasson since 1982, and they would be together till Lesley's death from lung cancer in 2015.
That's also coincidental because this is our first episode of Pride Month.
Uh-huh.
So, happy Pride, everybody.
Lesley's papers were donated to New York Public Library for the Performing Arts and became accessible to the public in 2022. Lesley Gore has been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since 1988, and yes, I think she should be in there. Now, as for me, I knew a handful of her songs, and I think Paul had let me borrow his copy of The Golden Hits of Lesley Gore, and I wound up getting my own copy at Strawberries in downtown Providence, which is probably an empty building now. The original 1965 LP contained 10 songs, but the CD has 18. It came out in 1987, and it is still one of the best sounding CDs I have. The sound quality is just unbelievable. The booklet is the original liner notes from 1965 and has a handful of photos with Lesley posing with Ed Sullivan or being interviewed by Dick Clark. The back of the CD lists all the songs, back of the CD case, lists all of the songs, who wrote them, when they were released, and how high they charted on Billboard's singles charts. I wish the booklet had more info, but I think the incredible sound of this CD makes up for that.
Okay.
So let's dive in.
Oh, yes, let's. First track, It's My Party. Okay, if you somehow never heard this song in your life, even though TikTok made it blow up with "Why was he holding a llama when he's supposed to be dead?" from The Emperor's New Groove, here's the story. Lesley throws a birthday party, but her boyfriend Johnny walks out with Judy, and when they come back, Judy's wearing a wedding ring on her finger. Ouch. I only ever heard the chorus of this song, but never the verse with the engagement ring, which, oof. The first red flag, though, should have been that Johnny didn't throw the party for her. She had to throw her own. Only thing that makes sense is that he was cheating on Lesley for a long time. Otherwise, a wedding ring out of nowhere would be pretty hard to believe. Anyway, I find it fascinating that this song starts on a dissonant chord because it makes it memorable. It's got the happiness of the party and the pain of Lesley all in one blast. And the music is fitting because the party's going on while she's depressed out of her mind. Great song, but you listen to it and go, oh man, what a bummer.
Yeah, this is Lesley's birthday, and it's one she'll never forget.
For all the wrong reasons.
I think the reason that I don't think she threw the party herself. I think her parents probably did because she's still in high school, and she's not on her. Yeah, she's not on her own yet.
Yeah, I forgot how young she was when she was recording.
Oh yeah, she was
17.
I want to say maybe 16 with this one.
Wow.
Yeah, her boyfriend Johnny disappeared, and so did her friend.
Yeah.
Or maybe frenemy Judy. But our Lesley carries on, playing her records and dancing all night. And then Judy and Johnny come back like a queen with her king, and oh, what a birthday surprise. Judy's wearing his ring, which I don't think is...
Not an engagement ring?
Maybe a high school ring?
Oh, like a promise ring?
One of those.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so then the crying. Oh, the crying.
Can you blame her, though?
But yeah, you know what? For a song of such teen misery, it really swings. I mean, I have no idea who the studio musicians are. I tried doing research online, but I was getting nowhere fast. The drummer is killing it. And Quincy Jones, he has a nice, clean, full sound. It's like you can pick out every instrument clearly.
It's like a cleaner Phil Spector wall of sound.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect description of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a miserable #1 classic, and as comic book guy would say, worst birthday party ever.
Next track, Judy's Turn to Cry. Part 2, Revenge. To which I say, huzzah! I thought this song would be darker, like Judy got hit by a car or something, and she winds up in a wheelchair, and Johnny is an ableist jerk who ditches her. But nope, Johnny and Judy were engaged until one night they were at a different party with Lesley. Johnny and Judy start making out in public, so Lesley makes out with another guy out of spite, and Johnny punches the nameless guy in the kisser, which means he's still in love, and he leaves Judy and goes back to Lesley. I don't buy this BS for 1 minute. Once a cheater with the same partner, always a cheater with the same partner. I feel like it would be hilarious if you put these two songs on loop back to back somehow because I see the cycle repeating. Go find that other guy you were kissing, Lesley.
Well, let me ask you something.
Mhm.
Again, let's take the ages into consideration. These kids are all in high school.
Yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting she's a teenager.
So I think this is, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you're less removed from your high school years than I am.
Yeah.
Is it just like, okay, this is just high school drama and this happens all the time, or?
Depends on how committed the couple is to each other.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the sequel in which Lesley gives as good as she got. She's had some time to process the events that unfolded in It's My Party, maybe only about 2 months because this was kind of rush released. We need a follow up. We need a follow up.
Mm-hmm.
So she says she was foolish for crying her eyes out, but Judy's smile was so mean. And yeah, Lesley sees them kiss at another party and they're kissing, and I don't know, maybe Lesley needs to go to different parties, Judy-less parties.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Anyway, and yeah, she just grabs this random guy who probably was just minding his own business,
Yeah.
kisses him, and then Johnny flips shit.
Yep.
Comes over and beats the guy because he still loves Lesley.
Mm-hmm.
If this song came out today, I think Lesley would punctuate it all with "How You Like Me Now, biatch." As for Johnny, Lesley, you can do better.
Yes.
But again, such teen drama.
Yep.
Not as great as the original, but still solid and just as hooky as It's My Party. And great horn break. Made it to #5. And I gotta say, when my friend Judy left Blue Cross, made a tape, and this was one of the songs on it. And she heard it, and she just lived up to the title. She was just bawling her eyes out.
Next track, Just Let Me Cry. If you look at the album cover for this, Lesley looks depressed as hell, just for this single specifically.
Oh, yeah.
When I first read the title of this, I thought we were getting the conclusion in the Johnny trilogy, but nope. The one moment of this song I really like is when we sort of get a fourth wall break. What good is this song if I've no one to love? Well, Lesley, sadness still sells millions. But this was the third crying over a guy's song in a row, and I was going, sweet Lord, not again. Got some great drums, though.
Well, I mean, that album, I'll Cry If I Want To,
Mm-hmm.
I saw the track listing, and there were, I believe, 6 songs that had the word cry in the title, so maybe they were going for some sort of concept.
I think they were, yeah.
Like one of the early concept albums of rock and roll.
Like how Sinatra had in the wee hours of the evening, where it's all sad songs.
Yeah, he had all those 50s concept albums.
Yep.
This was the B-side to Judy's Turn to Cry, and again, it's from the album I'll Cry If I Want To.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of look at it as maybe the third song in the trilogy, because it seems that Johnny left for good, and Lesley doesn't want to hear the robin sing, doesn't want to see flowers, or the dreamy moon, or two lovers kissing. She's just going to wallow in her misery, so just let her cry. And to me, this song sounds like Judy's Turn to Cry, but with different words. It's not bad, and as odd as it sounds, great kettle drum hook.
Okay. No, it makes sense. Drum hooks are drum hooks. Next track, She's a Fool. That opening felt very 1950s rock and roll. Has something like this ever happened to you? The person you love falls in love with an absolutely horrible person, and you want to strangle that absolutely horrible person for not realizing what a gift they have? The inverse of this is when an ex shacks up with someone else and you're like, good luck with that, not my problem anymore. Lesley this time is observing and scoffing and biding her time. She doesn't know for sure if he'll come to her, but she knows one thing, he's not going to stay long. At least, that's what one would hope. Love can make people do stupid things. A different vibe that I enjoyed.
That's true. Yeah, this is a #5 hit, and the boy Lesley wishes was hers is with some other girl who treats him cruel. Maybe treats him cruelly? Grammarians out there, let us know. But our Lesley would never be untrue or make him blue. maybe one day he'll wise up.
I doubt
Probably
it.
not. Another great arrangement with a very insistent piano throughout. And after years of not knowing, I finally learned that the background singers are saying Shagadula.
Yeah, I googled it.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea what that means.
It's just nonsense. Like in Greece, we go together like Ramalama kadingy ding dong.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that Shagadula might have made it onto one of Michael Jackson's Quincy Jones produced albums. I could be totally wrong, but it does sound like something that would have been on there.
That must have been interesting when that song came to Britain, considering what shag means over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always say, if you're going internationally, make sure that any phrases you say are not offensive in some other countries or mean something else.
Good point.
Next track, The Old Crowd, my first note. Oh God, she's crying again. This is a song that's true to life about friends growing apart after high school because you see each other every day for 6 hours a day and you get to know each other pretty well. Then when you're gone, you wonder, will I ever find new friends? Because the high school friends are kind of like your comfort blankie. However, I could say on the other side of it, sometimes it's way better. My comfort blanket friends turns out were smothering me, and I'm friends with the only ones from that group who matter. And I couldn't believe this song was Goffin and King when I read it. At least this song shows that she doesn't just cry over boys, she cries over friends too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this was the B-side to She's a Fool, and it was written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin. And Lesley is 17 now, barely out of high school or about to graduate, and she's already reminiscing about those days, which causes her to cry. I'm thinking, what? She and her friends would gather at the candy store around 4 and ignore the no dancing allowed sign, which I don't think you'd see those anymore.
Just in Footloose.
Or even candy stores.
But there was a town in Oklahoma that had dancing banned until sometime in the 2010s. It made the news.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess that was a thing back then.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was Funny Sally, Sue who wore the hippest clothes, but I like that line. I wish I could explain what I like about it, but
sometimes you just like something and you don't know why.
Yeah, there was Wise Guy Eddie and Off Key Johnny, and she misses that old crowd. And it has a great arrangement that has a sway to it, and I think, since this is written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin, I know Carole was more music and Jerry was more lyrics, but I think the reason that they wrote this was because they were only a couple of years older than Lesley, but they had to grow up fast.
You know what this reminds me of, thinking about it now? You remember that episode in season 3 of Dairy Girls where you see that the girls' mas were basically just like them as teenagers?
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
Next track, You Don't Own Me. Very empowering. Not too much musical oomph, but I think the lyrics convey the message well enough with Lesley's voice that you can keep the arrangement of a pop ballad. Lesley lays down the law. You don't own me. I'm free to do what I want as I please. So don't tell me what to do or what to say because I am young and I am free and I am my own person. And I don't tell you what to do or say, so knock it off. It felt good that they gave her this song to stand her ground. Great breath of fresh air tone-wise.
This hit number 2 and was kept at a number 1 spot by the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand, which is completely understandable.
Yeah.
Even though Lesley didn't write You Don't Own Me, she considered it her signature song. Kind of like Otis Redding wrote Respect, but everyone says
Aretha.
That's Aretha's song, yep.
It kind of is now, too.
Yep, she said she loved that she was 17, standing on stage and shaking her finger at the audience and singing You Don't Owe Me. And she sings to a boy how she's not one of his toys. She'll go out with other boys. Don't tell her what to say or do. Don't put her on display. Don't try to change her or tie her down. She's young and free, and she's going to live the way she wants. Which was pretty heady stuff for 1963. It was regarded as an anthem for the second wave feminist movement of the 1960s. And Lesley always closed her shows with You Don't Owe Me because she said she couldn't find anything stronger. Plus, I think it's hard to follow up that song, as we'll see next. Very dramatic arrangement. You know more about music than I do. Well, I mean, with like notes and keys and all that. Is this in a minor key?
I can't remember anymore, Dad.
Oh, well, there's something about the sound that just makes it really dramatic. And there's that thing that's like this clanking thing that keeps coming in that just is like, it's almost like hammering away at like...
It's not a cowbell, it's something else.
Yeah. I just don't know what that thing is.
Next track, That's the Way Boys Are.
Oh, well.
This song is sad. It's the cycle of an abusive relationship. Leslie believes that this man loves her even though he roughs her up and looks at other girls. Then when he comes back on his knees for forgiveness, she takes him back. But there's something about this song that indicates she doesn't believe him fully. Probably because of how she sings the title with a certain bitterness, like, here we go with this again. Like, she knows she should get out, but doesn't know what to do to make that happen. Poor Leslie. Sad song, but with great opening vocals from the backup singers. As for Why Pants, she made it a depressed dirge, which kind of works because she's like, I'm so tired of his bullshit. But then the screaming kicked in and I kind of found it hilarious. Sounds like if Yoko Ono got her hands on this song, but better than Yoko would have done it, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was number 12 hit in 1964, and Leslie's guy looks at the other girls, treats her rough, acts as if he doesn't care, but see the title.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the follow-up to You Don't Own Me's direct Declaration of Independence.
Which, holy shit.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
In the 1990s and 2000s, various music critics did comparative analysis between the two songs. She went from independence to dependence, and how could she, how dare she record That's the Way Boys Are? And I think, come on. I'm one here, yes, I absolutely get the point that they're trying to make, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But are we really going to take a 17-year-old girl to task for her choices in recording material? Because I'm guessing at that time, Lesley may have had only so much input on the material.
Yeah.
As for the White Pants version, it's just going along. I'm thinking, wow, this is really something else. And then that screaming starts.
It's true to reality.
And it just started really getting hard to listen to at that point for me.
Because it's the truth.
But I went all the way through.
Me too.
Now, so if you're interested, listeners out there, you can check it out on YouTube. You have been warned. And White Pants was part of the no wave scene.
What's no wave?
I'm glad you asked.
I swear I didn't plan to ask that question.
It was a New York music scene from the I guess about maybe late 70s, very early 80s. That was like artier, new wave or punk. It was more with like noise generated and dissonance. Thank you.
Yes.
DISSONANCE.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the screaming in this song, but yeah, it's something else. I have to admit, I kind of like their version better.
I think it works better, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Next track, I Don't Want to Be a Loser. Loser has a double meaning here, because it also means loser in that she doesn't want to lose her man. And she is going to do everything she can to keep her man with her so she's not labeled as a loser in love. This one is sad too in a different way, because I can already tell that this faceless man is not interested anymore. It also feels like Lesley is playing her last card she has because she's willing to do anything to keep him. But I do like how she holds out that last note at the end. That was very nicely done.
Yeah, Lesley doesn't want to lose her guy and be a loser in love or just in general. Pretty basic lyrically. Musically, I just noticed for the first time ever, it's pretty much You Don't Own Me, but with different words.
Mm-hmm.
And this just made it into the top 40 at number 37.
Next track, Maybe I Know. I've heard this song before, but all I remember is the chorus. Lesley is in love with a notorious cheater, and all her friends are whispering behind her back, wondering what the hell she's doing with a guy like him. And she knows he acts this way, but part of her hopes that he really does love her and that he'll straighten himself out. This is exactly what I warned her about when Johnny came back. Oh, sweetheart, you can do so much better.
This is such a happy song, musically anyway.
Yeah, musically it is.
Yep. But once again, Lesley's getting used by her guy. He's been a cheating, he's been untrue. This one kind of reminded me of That's the Way Boys Are. But this go around, her friends are telling her he's no good, not treating her right. But she insists he really loves her. And, I'm sure her girlfriends are like rolling their eyes and going, Lesley, come on, you can do better.
Wake up, yeah.
This made it to number 14 on the top 40.
Next track, Wonder Boy. Now it's the nerd's turn. Reminds me of that line in Gaston says in Beauty and the Beast. Belle, it's about time you got your head out of those books and started paying attention to more important things. Like me. Yeah. Lesley is in love with the smartest boy in school, but he's too busy studying to pay attention. Well, at least this guy isn't an abusive jerk or cheater. He's just studying to go to MIT, probably. And she sounds really pissed in this song that he won't look up and notice her. If you had to take a lovin' test, I doubt if you could pass. Ouch. The title is catchy as hell when Lesley sings it. I like seeing this side of her because we don't see it often. Very interesting to hear her taunting the object of her affection. Yeah.
Or maybe she's just about to ready to take charge of the situation herself, like smack him upside the head. And,
with the book.
Hey, I'm standing here. Huh? This is the B-side to Maybe I Know. And yeah, Lesley falls for the boy genius at school, but she calls him an educated fool because he can't see how much she loves him. He's always got his head stuck in the book. Best verse, in reading and writing and arithmetic, you're the best in class. But if you had to take a loving test, I doubt if you could pass.
Which, wow.
Yeah.
Burn.
Now, musically, it's Heat Wave by Martha and the Vandellas, but with different words. So, both those songs are a Charleston. You can Charleston to either one of these. And the Pipettes covered similar ground on their song ABC. He knows about ABC,
1, 2, 3.
ABC, XYZ, 1, 2, 3, but he doesn't know about XTC.
Yep.
Which is great. And check out our Pipettes podcast at some point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next track. Hey now.
Hey now.
Leslie's relationship is at a crossroads and she lays down an ultimatum. You have to tell me if you're in love with me or not, because then we gotta stop, because if you're not, then we gotta stop, because I'm not gonna wait for you forever. And if that's the case, I'll go find another guy. I'm so glad we have songs like this on this album to break the oh woe is me cycle of love songs. Provides a better balance. I agree with the comments saying it should have more listens than it does because it's pretty damn empowering.
Yep, proto-feminist Lesley is back. She confronts her guy. Is he going to be true? Is she going to be the one or just another date? And tell her now because she has no time to waste because she can find another guy. And to me, this song is Nancy Sinatra before Nancy Sinatra was Nancy Sinatra. This song has a strut to it, and I can imagine Lesley going up to this guy with her two backup singers in tow, doing shaking their fingers at him and what hell you, and basically tell him to shit or get off the pot. You have 5 seconds. 1, 4, 5. Great sassy song, only made it to number 76. It deserved better.
Agreed. Next track, Look of Love. My first note. No, not that one.
Nope.
I think this is Johnny and Judy again. Lesley sees her ex with another girl and he's looking at her with the look of love. He used to look at her like that, but now that he's giving that same look to another woman, she's crushed. Another song where you feel bad for her, but also want her to grow up and move on.
Yep, and this is another one where, Lesley's losing in love and sees her ex with another girl and remembers how he used to treat her like he does this other girl. And that look on his face, isn't that the look of love? And like you said, this is not to be confused with the Dusty Springfield song from Casino Royale.
Correct.
Which is one of the worst movies ever. Ugh. Except for the look of love and the theme to Casino Royale. Other than that, do not bother with this movie.
Peter O'Toole's cameo is funny, but that's like 5 seconds. That's all you need to see.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. All right, next track. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is how I feel when we're together.
Brighter than...
I gotta stop. Because all I can think of is The Simpsons.
Yep.
And I agree with the comments saying what makes that scene is Homer's just lying in the back of the police car with Chief Wiggum, depressed out of his mind because if he had gone to the ballet with Marge, she wouldn't be on this high-speed car chase. But then as he listens to the song, he slowly smiles and starts singing along.
Well, the funny thing is, like, when Marge and Thelma and Louise, when they're in the car, it's like, it comes on the radio like, we need something better.
Welcome to the Jungle, yeah. I watched that episode for this, too, just to see it again. My favorite part is when he gets stuck in the vending machine and it goes, Homer, are you just holding on to the can? And then he walks away and you just hear the vending machine people just laughing and laughing. Go watch that episode, it's great. Anyway, this song could easily be saccharine due to the title, but I think it doesn't get saccharine past the title, which is good. She sounds very adult singing this. But if you also look at the comments on this video, it was used during chase scenes and attempted murder scenes on TV with the Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
Huh.
So yeah, since I don't have that context, I just feel pretty happy listening to it, especially when the backup singers join Lesley, and of course when watching Chief Wiggum and Homer just sing it in the car chase.
Maybe that's where the Umbrella Academy got it from.
Maybe.
This was written by a 17-year-old Marvin Hamlish and,
Oh, I didn't know he wrote that too.
and sung by Lesley in that immortal cinematic masterpiece, Ski Party. She sings it on a bus.
That's interesting.
They needed the song to get the gang in the movie from wherever they were leaving, I guess the bus station, to the ski lodge.
Oh, a transition song.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, Marvin said he wrote this song, and his dentist uncle, who was also his godfather, asked Marvin for the lyrics. Turns out Quincy Jones was one of Uncle Dentist's patients.
Oh.
So when the dentist had Quincy in the chair, he's like, "Hey, listen, my nephew, he wrote this song. You gotta do something with it."
Don't argue with the guy who's got metal utensils in your mouth.
Yeah, so Quincy, being in that chair and in a very, very vulnerable position, said yes, he would take it.
Mm-hmm.
So life is finally good for Lesley. She
Yeah.
feels on top of the world. Life is, well, see the title.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
And let's throw in some unicorns too while we're at it. Not her best effort.
Well,
I mean,
sure,
to
I get
me-
what you mean, but it's still fun.
I mean, she really doesn't seem that much into it. I mean, she's giving it her all, though.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, this song is worth it just for that Simpsons gag.
Exactly.
And this made it all the way to number 13.
I wonder if it charted again when The Simpsons used it in that episode.
I don't no, I think if it had come out now, it would have blown up.
That's true. But again, Umbrella Academy kind of made it go big again. It's got like 12 million views on YouTube now.
Huh. Okay, that's good.
And one other part of that episode I love is when they're chasing them and Marge's friend turns the car lights off and Wiggum goes, "Oh my God, it's a ghost car!" There's so many of them out there. And then when they ask him for his location, I'm on a road in the desert. There's yellow lines on the road. Oh, man.
So where were you able to see the episode? Oh,
Yo
never
ho
mind.
ho and a bottle of rum.
Uh-huh.
But also, Tyler and I have Disney Plus upstairs.
Oh,
But
nice.
Tyler was watching TV at the time, so I was like, I'll just pull it up on my laptop.
All in the name of research, listeners.
Amen. Next track, My Town, My Guy, and Me. My first note, I seriously doubt anyone calls it Frisco. Right?
Yeah, because if you refer to San Francisco as Frisco, it drives the residents nuts.
I get it.
Unless that's what you're after, making them crazy.
I know people in my office who think like this, who say they never want to leave Rhode Island, even for vacation. Which, wow, not even vacation.
They must really love the beach.
They really love Riverside, and that's all I'll say.
They won't even leave Riverside?
I don't know. But yeah, they're very provincial, but I love them a lot, so that's why I'm not saying their name. Anyway, reminds me of what Iro said. There is nothing wrong with a simple life. And if that's what the two of you want, God bless. Personally, I like a nice vacation every now and then, and I'm going on one in a couple weeks.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lesley isn't interested in the big cities. She's happy in her town because her town's got a guy that loves her. Now, if she didn't have a guy in the town that loved her,
Would you still want to stay?
you think she'd up and go somewhere?
I think she might still stay for a little bit, but eventually she'd move.
Yeah, this song is okay.
Mm-hmm.
It actually made it all the way to number 32.
Mm-hmm. Next track, You Didn't Look Around. Not another cheating song. I mean, I guess it's what she's good at singing the most, but oi. Anyway, Lesley caught her guy cheating on her when she went to the movies and saw him making out with another girl. I love the way she sings, "No, you didn't look up because you were occupied," with a space after the letter O as if she's mocking him. And the music is arranged quite nicely as she makes the unpleasant discovery as we build up suspense. Excuse me. But she sounds a bit more bitter in this one, which I appreciated because it was a marked change. More bitter Lesley. However, it was she's technically bitter in that song about falling in love with the nerd, but I like seeing it more than twice. However, it was the first one on the album that felt a bit long, and it was only a little over 2 minutes, so it could have been paced better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Lesley goes to a late night movie by herself, independent.
Mm-hmm. I've done that before. It's fun.
Yeah, I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
But what does she see in the theater? Yep, that guy making out with another girl.
Mm-hmm.
But she's determined to lock him out of her heart. At least she's going to try.
Yeah.
And at least she's not giving him another chance. Did not make the top 40.
Next track. What am I going to do with you?
I don't know.
I know what you can do. Leave him. It's interesting how Lesley starts off the song with someone who says she's my friend. This either means A, the person telling Lesley this is the woman her man was seeing behind Lesley's back, or B, Lesley would have rather been kept in the dark about her man's dalliances instead of learning the truth.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
Which, wow, how sad. And she knows she should leave, but she's too besotted. My God.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just more misery on top of misery on top of misery. Yep. Yeah, so one of Lesley's friends, take that as you want it,
Yeah.
tells her guy's been untrue and Lesley knows she should have left him long ago, but she still doesn't want to live without him. Oy. Now, musically, it sounds like Quincy Jones was paying attention to Phil Spector. Like you said, he has like a cleaner wall of sound. It's not as in your face as Phil's wall of sound, but the influence is definitely there. Great vocal performance by Lesley. And to me, she sounds almost sultry at the end when she does that. What am I going to do with you? Ooh, hey, baby. Did not make the top 40 for some reason.
Next track, Off and Running. Finally, a song where she leaves, and not only that, but she's practically running for the hills. I think she's trying to sound like the 60s girl groups, especially with the backup singers and the synchronized clapping. In my opinion, the backup singers outshine her. A breath of fresh air that sounds more like the swinging 60s, but I felt like it could have gone further with the intensity. It would have been better if it ended with a final musical bang for a conclusion.
Yep, feminist Lesley is back. She's had enough. She's breaking away, off and running as far as she can go because she's had it up to here and she wants out. To me, this is probably the most rocking song on this collection, and we actually get a guitar solo and some kick-ass drumming, but I wish, for some reason, this song doesn't have as full a sound as a lot of the other songs that we've just discussed. I don't know why that is, but I wish that the drums had been brought up into the forefront just a little more, not overwhelming, just a little more.
Final track, California Nights. If you know musical theater at all, that opening is very Marvin Hamlish with the slow build like one in the chorus line. And guess what? This was the one song I really liked because the music was so distinct and Lesley sang it so well. It's a beautiful summer love ballad. You can see yourself swaying under the trees in a warm summer night floating on love. Great track for the summer. Makes me wish Hamlish wrote for her more often.
Yep, this was Lesley's last top 40 hit going to number 16. Yeah, written by Marvin. Produced by Bob Crew, who had already done a lot of work with the Four Seasons. Apparently, when Lesley was off and running in the previous song, she wound up in California, and life is good. Pretty good. Seems she spends most of her time taking long romantic walks on the beach at night. And that's pretty much it. Now, musically, to me, the opening sounds like it may have inspired the Odd Couple theme, because California Nights came out in '66. Odd Couple, the movie, 1968. To me, it just sounds so close to it. And once again, I wish the percussion was more in the forefront. And the thing is, I love this song, but the fade out at the end just has always sounded abrupt. Like she's still singing the chorus, and it just seems like fade. I would have waited until she had finished the chorus and then start fading out like instrumentally.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I still love this song. I'd say this is probably my favorite song by her.
Overall, I think Lesley Gore is better in doses than a full album. You get bogged down by the cheating and her being helplessly in love that it wears you down after a while.
Yeah, but you can dance to it.
Even though a couple of tracks they put in there for a breath of fresh air. She's got a great voice and the music is decent, but for your emotional well-being, I say you can cherry pick all you want. It's okay.
Yeah, I love this album. I would recommend it. There are a lot of Lesley Gore compilations out there, but again, the sound quality on this one is just incredible. It's hard to beat. And she has a great voice, and there's more to her than It's My Party. And also, if you're interested, there's a biography on Lesley Gore on YouTube called Lesley Gore, It's Her Party, which was part of A&E's biography series.
Oh, okay.
And this came out, I think, either in the late 2000 or maybe early 2001.
So she was still alive.
And yeah, highly recommended because Lesley herself is interviewed, and she tells this one story about when the 1996 movie First Wives Club used "You Don't Own Me." She would time her the daily walking of her dog in New York City so she could pass a theater where the movie was playing, just so she could hear people sing that song when they came out.
Oh, that's so nice. That's wholesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, oh, Lesley, I feel so bad for you. But she seemed okay with it, and I mean, she was doing all right for herself, still doing her shows and songwriting and what have you.
Yeah. All right, as always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. The more you listen to interact with the episode, the greater chance we have of appearing on the YouTube homepage. If you follow me on social media, I post the episodes there. If you're friends with my dad, shoot him an email and he can send the episode to your inbox. As always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. We will be back next time with another album to nitpick and gripe about. Dad, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yes, it's our podcast, and we'll vent if we want to.
Amen.